Conor Benn believes Devin Haney is about to face the toughest challenge of his career, and it could end in a shocking upset when he takes on Jose Ramirez this Friday night, May 2nd at Times Square, New York City, on DAZN PPV. Benn doesn't hold back in his assessment, hinting that Haney may not be as mentally prepared as everyone thinks. Benn speculates that Haney's devastating loss to Ryan Garcia last April has had a lingering psychological effect on him. That loss, a brutal beating, is something that no fighter just shakes off overnight. After the fight, Haney stayed away from the ring for over a year, raising the question, has he recovered mentally? In sports, the psychological aspect can be just as important as the physical, and Haney's 13-month hiatus might be a sign that he hasn't fully regained his confidence. Benn points out that after experiencing something as painful as a crushing defeat in the ring, many athletes avoid putting themselves in a similar position. Haney's decision to stay on the sidelines for so long might just be an indication that the mental scars of that loss are still very much there. Benn doesn't believe Haney can just come back and pick up where he left off. He's going to have to prove that he's not just physically ready, but that he's mentally tough enough to handle the pressure of a high-stakes fight like this one. The question remains, will Haney return to the ring with the same swagger and confidence that him a two-division champion, or will we see a fighter who's mentally broken, unsure of himself? In Benn's eyes, this is no walk in the park for Haney. He believes Haney is walking into a real test, and it's not going to be easy. He needs to get the job done, Benn states firmly, acknowledging that Haney is still a skilled boxer, but questioning whether he has the mental fortitude to perform under pressure. Benn adds that boxing fans are drawn to fighters with strong personalities, and Haney is someone who can fit that mold if he can prove himself in the ring. However, Benn points out that Haney has yet to establish himself as a true character in the sport. Sure, his dad, Bill Haney, has played a huge role in building his public persona, but it's Bill who's done the talking and hyping, not Devin. Haney hasn't fully developed that magnetic presence that makes fans tune in for more than just the fight itself. Benn makes an interesting observation about why Haney has captured spotlight. It's not just his skills in the ring, but the way he's been marketed and maneuvered in the fight. Benn believes Haney's rise to the top in two different weight classes wasn't the result of fighting the best company available. Instead, Haney's team has carefully crafted his career with smart matchmaking, ensuring that he'd win titles against opponents who weren't necessarily seen as the cream of the crop. Take Haney's victory over George Kambosos Jr., for example. While Kambosos was a solid fighter, many didn't consider him a top-tier champion. Haney's win over Regis Prograis has raised similar questions. Was Prograis really at the top of his game when Haney defeated him? According to Benn, Haney's belt collection came not from facing the toughest competition, but from navigating a path that allowed him to become a two-division world champion without facing the most dangerous opponents. This leads Benn to his final point about Haney's career trajectory. Benn believes that despite Haney's technical abilities, his path to the top has been paved with carefully chosen opponents who allowed him to capture belts without truly being tested. The big question now is whether Haney can handle the pressure of facing someone like Jose Ramirez, who has the skills and mentality to push him to his limits. If Haney stumbles again, especially mentally, this could be a huge upset, one that further questions his legitimacy as a world-class fighter. Fans are eagerly awaiting this fight, but many, including Benn, are wondering if Haney's time in the spotlight might be shorter than expected. The stakes couldn't be higher for Devin Haney as he prepares to step into the ring with Jose Ramirez, and the pressure is mounting. With Benn's words echoing in the background, Haney's future in boxing is being closely scrutinized. If he falters against Ramirez, it could be more than just a lost fight. It could be a defining moment where the cracks in his mental game start to show. The time off after his loss to Ryan Garcia may have provided some physical rest, but Benn believes it's the psychological toll of that defeat that could still haunt Haney. Boxing is a sport where the mind plays just as important role as the body, and for Haney, this upcoming fight may not only be about securing another win, it could be about proving to himself that he's mentally tough enough to keep competing at the highest level. There's also the looming shadow of his father, Bill Haney, in the conversation. Bill has been the loud voice behind Devin's rise, guiding him and being the face of promotions. But in a sport like boxing, where personal charisma can make or break a fighter's career, some are beginning to wonder if Devin has been relying too much on his father's persona rather than developing his own. Conor Benn certainly seems to think so. He points out that while Bill's mouth has undoubtedly helped boost Devin's visibility, it's Devin who needs to establish himself as a genuine character in the sport, something that goes beyond the father-son dynamic. Fans and pundits are starting to look at Haney not just for his technical skills, but for the type of presence he can command outside of the ring. As the fight with Ramirez approaches, the clock is ticking for Haney to step up up and prove that he's more than just a well-matched fighter. Many believe he's yet to truly be tested against the best in the division, and if he's to silence critics like Benn, he needs to show up and dominate. With Ramirez known for his toughness and relentless pressure, this could be the kind of fight that forces Haney to dig deeper than ever before. He'll have to demonstrate not only his boxing IQ, but also his ability to cope with adversity in the ring. If Haney can't handle the heat, it could be a sign that his time as a world champion is coming to an end, and the spotlight could shift to younger, more dynamic fighters. But even if Haney gets past Ramirez, the question of his legacy will still hang in the balance. Benn's criticism isn't just about this particular fight, it's about Haney's overall career trajectory. Will he ever face the top-tier opponents that could solidify his place among the best in boxing history? Fans have been clamoring for a showdown between Haney and the likes of Teofimo Lopez or George Kambosos Jr., but the reality is that Haney hasn't yet faced the caliber of fighter who could truly challenge. Instead, he's been given opportunities that many feel were too easy. If he defeats Ramirez and then moves on to face bigger names, it will be crucial for him to prove that he's not just a product of good matchmaking, but a truly elite fighter capable of holding his own against the sport's biggest stars. Ultimately, the fight against Ramirez could be a turning point in Haney's career, both in terms of his skill set and his image. Boxing fans are notorious for their ability to see through hype, and if Haney fails to back up his talent with real performances, his reputation could take a hit. Benn's words are a warning shot, and they reflect the sentiment of many who believe that Haney's greatest challenge isn't just Ramirez, it's himself. The mental battle could be just as tough as any physical, and how Haney handles the pressure could define his future in the sport. As the fight approaches, the boxing world is watching closely to see if Haney can rise to the occasion or if his reign at the top will come to an abrupt end.